Welcome back to Student Tutorials. In this video, we're going to be looking at what functions and methods are and how we can use them. First things first, what are they? Well, they're very similar, but there's one key difference between them. Functions, I'm sure you've come across in the Python videos, if you've watched them, or even just in general. Maybe even in maths, you've probably come across functions. And a function is just a piece of code that performs a task, just like in maths, except it's not code. This could be setting a delay in your code. It could be adding two numbers together. Or maybe you've defined your own function, which you probably have done before, which does something totally different. A method, however, is a function that's linked to an object. You might be like, what on earth is an object? An object is an entity that has functionality. For example, an LED or a thermometer. Or maybe you're writing a game, and the game's about cats or dogs or something. And you want in your game to be able to feed a cat. You might have an object cat that has lots of different methods, and one of those methods is feed. Now, if you wanted to do this in a code, you might call them cat and feed to make things easy, and you would just write cat.feed and then brackets and then whatever parameters you might want to put in there, like how much food you're giving them. Other than it being linked to an object, it works just like a function, like you've seen in Python. Here are a couple of examples you might see in Arduino. First one, analog read. Now this just reads the state of a certain pin that you might have something connected to. So this one, you could just declare a variable int pin1 and then say it's equal to analog read and then analog read at pin1, and it would give you the value of whatever's on pin1. Serial.print, however, well, here serial is the object and print is the method, because the serial monitor has lots of different functions associated with it, and they're all generally quite unique to the serial monitor. So we do serial.print to specify that we want to print to the serial monitor. Anyway, now we're just going to do a very quick example. We're going to be remaking the blink script, which is one of the most basic examples of Arduino. You can find it on the Arduino IDE itself, but we're going to be writing it for nothing, just to kind of highlight what we're doing here. Okay, so you see here, I just have a completely blank sketch. I've not written anything here other than the functions it's given me already. So first thing we're going to do in the setup, you normally have to put setup code. We're going to say pin mode. So this is a function pin mode. It's a function that sets the mode of a certain pin that you specify. And the pin that we're going to edit is the LED underscore built-in. And if you didn't guess, that is the built-in LED on the board. And what we're going to do with that? Well, we're going to make it an output. So here we've got a function, and then we've got parameters, and the two parameters are what it is we're changing the mode of and what we're changing the mode to. So LED built-in to output. The next thing, which I said you should always just do in the last video, in basically every piece of code you ever write on Arduino, is serial.begin, and we're going to set it to 9600. So we're setting the speed of the serial connection to the Arduino at 9600 bits per second. Again, here serial is the object and begin is a method from serial. It's linked to the serial. Okay, now we're going to turn the LED on and off. So we're going to use a function digital write. Now, what we're going to do, we want to turn that LED built in again. So we want to access that LED built in, and we want to turn it on. So we're going to set the state to high, which in other words is just turning it on. Then we're going to do digital write LED underscore built in, and we're going to set to low. So it turn on and then turn off. But wait a minute. This is just going to turn on and then off straight away. So are you actually going to see any change? No, you're not. So what you need to make sure you do is add a bit of a delay in there by using the delay function. Delay 1000. Now, this is more important than it seems. when you're using your thermometers or whatever with your board, they can't just pick up the temperature at lightning speed. There's a bit of processing they have to do themselves. So you need to make sure you have delays in your code so that you're not just completely overloading the thermometer and just getting completely junk data from it. I know this because this is something I had to figure out for myself. You have to make sure, and sometimes the delay can be surprisingly big. Maybe it might even have to be 2 seconds. So that would be 2,000 to do that. Anyway, you should see over to the right of the screen that I have a video of the Arduino. So we're gonna upload this code, compile, so no errors. Good, good. And if you look at the Arduino, the little orange LED near the cable that it's connected to should be turning on and off, which is good. Now we could play around with the timings, maybe set one of the delays to 100. And you'll see now that it's flashing at a sort of different rhythm, which is great. Okay, but what if we wanted to know whether the LED was turning on and off from our serial monitor? Sometimes when you write code, you don't know where exactly it's going wrong. And one of the best ways to figure that out is to add little print statements to your code, so you know how far the code is getting before it does something. So I'm just going to print the LED is turned on. And I'm going to add a semicolon. And then when it turns off, serial.print the LED is turned off. And if we run that, go back to serial monitor, we'll see it's all in one line. And that's not very useful. How can we fix that? Well, we can use, as we said in the last video, print ln, which prints a new line. So we're going to upload that. Again, you see this time it's turning off and on, and it should be copying what the Arduino is doing, if you can see that at all, which is great. It is copying. That's perfect. Anyway, that's all for this video. But in the next video, we're going to be looking at how you can actually interface with the PT1000 thermometer and gather data from that. And from there, we're going to be looking at the other thermometers as well. Thanks.